Good morning. This is pre-algebra for Thursday, March the 26th. We're going to be looking at problem set 76. Problem set 76, we are on page 214. Today we're going to be talking about graphing inequalities. Now, an inequality can be true or false depending on the numbers that you substitute. Let's look at this. If I said that x is greater than 2, and I change x to 10, well, 10 is greater than 2, that's true. But what if I changed my x and I said negative 10 is greater than 2? Well, that's not true, okay? So just because we write something down doesn't mean it's true. We have to make sure that the numbers make a true statement. When you have a true statement, that is called the solution of the inequality, okay? That sounds so fancy and difficult. It's really not. Well, today we're going to talk about graphing these, okay? So what we're going to do, two things we have to understand. We have, well, a couple things. One, are greater than and less than signs. You learned those way back in first grade. And you remember that when it goes like this, the alligator mouth or the bird mouth, depending on how your elementary teacher taught it to you. The open side is where we want the greater number. So if we have like this, we said 8 is greater than 2. Now I can take the same statement and let's say that we put 6 and we put the sign this way is less than 8. Okay, so make sure that you know the difference between your greater than and less than as you think about them. It's not that I don't think you know them, it's sometimes we get in a hurry. Now, when we are graphing an inequality, we have to say, is it equal or is it not equal to it, okay? What I mean by this, let's look at this one first. It says x is greater than negative 2. Does it equal negative 2? No, it's greater than negative 2. So we would go to your line, your number line, and circle the number 2 because it is not equal to number 2. It is greater than a negative 2. Since it's greater than negative 2, I'm going to go to the right. Now, if I had said that it was less than negative 2, my arrow would have gone to the left. Look at the next one. This time I said x is greater than or equal to negative 2. This time go to the negative 2, color in your negative 2. The reason I color it in is because I have that equal mark. So I'm going to say it's equal to or it's greater than. So again, I'm going to go to the right. So this is x is greater than or equal to negative 2. And that is exactly what I've shown on my number line. I colored in the number negative 2. Therefore, that means that it's equal to or it's greater than. That's the way my direction went. With those things, so if it doesn't have an equal mark, you circle it. If it does have an equal mark, you color it in. With that in mind, draw two number lines real quickly. Mine went from negative 3 to a positive 6. And the other one went from negative 6 to positive 4, just anywhere in that area. Okay, now let's look at this together. We're looking at positive or negative. Well, we're looking at the positive 4 on this one. And we said that x is less than or equal to a positive 4. So go to your positive 4. Since it says equal to, we're going to circle it or color it in. Right, we're going to color it in. So we're going to color in the positive 4. Now we said that x is less than negative 4. So take your arrow and go to the less than numbers. Go towards your negatives. Look at the next one. In this case, we said x is less than negative 4. So is it equal to negative 4? It is not. So we're going to circle the mark for negative 4. We said that x is less than, so do we go to the left or to the right? We go to the left. So draw it up and then come over. That is all there is to graphing inequalities. We just did all of our practice on page 215. So let's look now at our problem set number 1 on 76. It says a rockabilly was old hat, but some of the fans still enjoyed it. If there were 29,000 fans at the festival, what fraction enjoyed rockabilly if 3,000 fans were rockabilly fans? Okay, now I have a fraction and I have a whole number and I'm looking for a number, so what's my pattern? Hopefully you remember that it is a fraction times the of equals the is. So look at your problem. You said, what's my fraction? I don't know. The question is what fraction? So in this case, I'm going to put an F for my fraction. Then it's going to say times the of, and the of is what? How many were there? Okay, 29,000. Equals the is, and how many is or how many are fans? 3,000 according to our story problem. Now, how do we solve this? Well, let's make this look like an equation that we're familiar with first. 29,000 F equals 3,000. Okay? What are we going to do? We got to get F by itself for the fraction, right? So we're going to divide it by 29,000. That's going to cancel. We're going to go over here and we're going to write 29,000. When I do that, I'm going to get rid of my zeros because I can cancel all of those out. Can I reduce 3 over 29? Remember, I'm looking for a fraction, so I want to leave it as a fraction, but I can't reduce it, so my answer is 3/29. 3/29 of the fans. Okay, look at number 2. When the trumpet sounded the charge, 7/8 of the Magdaleners disappeared. If there were 16,000 in all, how many disappeared? Okay, again, we're looking at a problem that has a fraction in it. So we're going to, again, think of our pattern. If you need to write the pattern down, you go ahead and do that. And if you don't, that's okay. What's our fraction? Our fraction is 7/8 of how many? Well, the problem says it is 7/8 and that there are 16,000 in all. So we have 16,000. And that equals our what number? So all we really have here is a fraction problem. Okay, we're going to put our 16,000 over 1. And I understand you may have done this in one step, and that's fine. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 8 goes into 16,000 2,000 times, and 7 times 2,000 is 14,000. So your answer was 14,000. Look at number 3. The stagecoach clattered and rattled, but still made the 40-mile trip in 5 hours. Okay? So how far did the stagecoach go? It went 40 miles, and it took it how long? 5 hours. Now let's continue looking at our story problem. Okay? It says, if the speed of the next leg, in other words, from point A to point B, is increased 4 miles an hour, how long will it take to travel the 36 miles that remain? Okay, so we're looking for a rate of speed here, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is go back to our original speed. How fast was the stagecoach going? Well, he was going 40 miles in 5 hours. Now, what I want to do with that is I want to add the increase. How fast was he going? How much did he increase? Well, it says we're going to increase 4 miles per hour. So if we're going to take this and we're going to increase it by 4 miles per hour, okay? We're going to increase it by 4 miles per hour. Now we're going to have what? Well, we're going to have to solve this and find out how much he's going. How many miles per hour is he going? Well, 40 divided by 5 is 8. Oops, sorry about that. 8 miles per hour. We're going to add the 4 miles per hour. how fast is he going? Well, 8 plus 4 is 12 miles per hour. That is his new speed, okay? This was our original speed. This is what we wanted to increase. Well, before we added them, we reduced them to miles per hour. So we got 8, at first he was going 8 miles per hour. We wanted to increase it by 4 miles per hour, giving us a total of 12 miles per hour. Why could we not just add it here? Because it wasn't the same. This was an increase of miles per hour. This was a ratio of how many miles in 5 hours. We have to make them have the same hours. Okay, let's look at our next problem. Number 4. The ratio of players to onlookers is 7 to 5. If there were 112 players, how many were onlookers? Okay, so you have a sporting event, and the ratio of players to fans is basically what it's asking you. There are 7 players for every 5 fans, okay? So our ratio is 7 to 5. What does the 7 represent? The 7 represents the players. The 5 represents the onlookers. Now, looking at your story problem, the ratio says that there are 112 players. How many onlookers? Okay, I have to remember that in a ratio that I make in a proportion, that whatever I put on the top in the first ratio has to be represented on the top in the second. In other words, the 7 and the 112 both represent players. 5 represent onlookers. What represents the onlookers here? X. Now, all I need to do is cross multiply. 7 times X is 7X. And 5 times 112, well, 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 1 I carried is 6. And 5 times 1 is 5. So I have 7X equals 560. Now, what are we going to do now? We have to get what? We have to get the X by itself. Okay, we have to get the X by itself. Well, how are we going to do that? We have to divide. Divide by 7. Okay, this is going to cancel. Now we say 560 divided by 7. Well, 7 goes into 56 8 times, and 7 goes into 0 times. So therefore, if there are 112 players, there are 80 fans or 80 onlookers. Look at the next problem. It wants you to graph X is greater than -4. Graph that for me today, real quickly. And you should have gone like this. If X is greater than -4, I'm going to put my numbers here as negatives. And there's a positive. Okay, I'm going to circle it, and then it's greater than, so I'm going to go this direction. Hopefully you did that correctly. Okay, tonight for homework, I want you to do, let's see, listeners changing our mind here. For homework, let's just do 10 through 16. 10 through 16. It's going to be part of your online quiz. So solve them before you start the quiz. Have a good day.